Hi guys, this is part 2 of the BreAKerDaily, and I went ahead and took this replay from the front page of drop.sc. And I believe this could be the uploader in the upper right hand corner. His name is ColdScars, belonging to the SCA clan. Or at least that seems to be his designated clan tag. I will simply call it his designated clan tag. And it looks like IdrA is actually in a relatively good and upbeat mood today. He says, "Good luck, have fun." Spawning his Zerg in the lower left-hand corner, I give you none other than IdrA. Yes. You know, I was a little heartbroken when I saw that, you know, he was essentially released from Evil Geniuses, just a little bit, but I knew it also meant a new chapter in his life, just like the rest of us. I mean, this is, you know, essentially, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, he has a reputation, yeah, and I mean, that basically made him what he was, but at the same time, it was also his downfall. I mean, he was my favorite Zerg after I found out that he had won the IPL back when I first started playing StarCraft and I was only in Bronze League. Of course, now I'm not that much better. I'm only in Diamond. And that's just, you know, a difference of mechanics, and that's it. There's a Ford Barracks going down here for ColdScars. And a gas as well. So this leads me to believe we're going to see some Reapers. It's not like IdrA never produced any results, but I guess, you know, I mean, after making it to the first WCS, the second WCS, and also making it to the Battle.net World Championships. I mean, making it to the Battle.net World Championships in and of itself, that means you're one of the top 32 players in the world worldwide, at least according to last year's system. And, you know, he walked away with money from that. Everyone who made it to the Battle.net World Championships in Shanghai walked home with money, essentially. But I want to say it also produced results for him and also produced job security for him. Come on. Reaper on the way now for ColdScars. As mentioned before, we could all expect that. And IdrA is going for a gas first. I'm wondering, you know, what are these guys' APM at? You know, I want to say that, you know, IdrA, just the fact that he gave out a good luck and have fun earlier today was, you know, made him rather upbeat. There's only 3 replays of him that I've casted all together, and this would be the third. The second one the first one I believe I casted of him was him playing against a Grandmasters League clanmate of mine by the name of Hephaestus, and you know, just IdrA overall, he just had sick. You know, he made Hephaestus look like he was 2 leagues lower than him, if that makes sense. Like, it almost seemed resemblant of a Platinum playing against a Silver League player. It's your typical Platinum playing against a typical Silver League. I mean, you could see the clear differences if you just examined the replay, like what exactly cost him the game. Looks like these drones here. Yeah, okay, a couple of them were in danger, but it looks like we got some lings out just in time. IdrA's got some queens in the mix as well. At least they're in production, and the Reaper's just coming down here to make sure that there's no drones in the natural. This is the only problem with sending out an extremely early Reaper, guys. I mean, sure, it's the only time you can do damage, but at the same time, it's the time that your opponent is expecting to run into the Reaper, so they won't have any drones at the natural, typically. I know that you know that I know, that kind of thing. You know, mind games. Sort of. I wouldn't say, no, not quite the same analysis, or not quite the same, you know, way to look at it, but at any rate, you know, other than that, I think the first big win that we saw for IdrA before this would have been the Battle.net World Championships, the IEM Guangzhou 2011. Unfortunately, it was not continued at the IEM. It was not continued in Guangzhou because of, you know, some international political affairs that had everyone in both China and Japan relatively angry. Basically, you know, the whole riots over the Diaoyu Islands, also known as the Ryukyukyu Islands. Both, I believe, I know the translation from Chinese to English means fishing islands, but I'm not sure about the translation from Japanese to English. It could very well be, but I'm just not aware of that. All right, so here we go. Lings coming in, and it looks like they're going to get a few SCA kills as well. Reaper accompanying some Hellions already, and I want to say, you know, IdrA, he's running laps around his opponent right now. This seems... I want to say, you know, this is the standard. This is something that not even Masters League players would try this, something as simple as this, but, players like IdrA, players like Boom Boom, they can make it work. Just throwing lings at your opponent's natural around the 7-minute mark to put on a little bit of pressure and kill a couple of workers. This is exactly what these players who have at least lived and trained in Korea for some period of time are capable of doing. Third is going to finish up for IdrA relatively soon. He only got one worker out of that, but I believe he also got a mule. And our resources lost will actually not indicate that to us. And I can't remember just how close to finishing that mule was, but how close to the end of its life it was. But yeah, boy, these lings trying to come in first round doesn't quite work out. Queens in forward positions as well as spine crawlers. Main queen is okay. Aliens in a pretty good position. So we actually have kind of ColdScars. Both players kind of struggling over map control, but it's not really a struggle. I think we have ColdScars in a relatively good position with his map control. Reaper's coming out as well, and this is going to be a bio follow-up because we see Stim on the way, and another barracks are being constructed as well. Two Widow Mines being cranked out 2 at a time, possibly just defensive Widow Mines. Don't want to look too deeply into that right now. It's very possible that they will actually make up later game unit composition, if you will. Now the income is actually slightly in favor of IdrA. ColdScars right now, he's getting out. Yeah, and speaking of, I was about to say, yeah, he does have. It was a 3 orbital command opening, so it's actually getting fixed and on the way right now. Marine Marauder Medevac Widow Mine, possibly. There was an Overlord floating into the main, yes, and there it is right now. Sacrificial Emo Lord, if you will. Just getting a good read into what his opponent's doing. There's a lot of Hellions here. Relatively good position to defend third, really. But overall, economically, we see that IdrA's ahead. He's kind of supply blocked right now. He's making 2 overlords a little bit late. It's almost as though he didn't have. It's almost as though he didn't have perfect accounting skills in losing that overlord. Now here we go. 4th hatch on the way for IdrA as well. Come on, 10 minutes and already 4 hatches. That's really bare bones. I don't know how to say this. IdrA knows how to spend his money. At least, not in real life necessarily. I'm not talking about that, but he knows what to do with the minerals and everything like that. Something worthy of mention is that he's one of, I believe, there was someone who devised a kind of macro score determiner, if you will, or something like that, a macro score system, if you will. And it turned out that, IdrA, he was in the top 7 when that system of devising the macro score was initially developed, if you will. It was some huge, complicated TeamLiquid.net post, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh my god, numbers, please, I'm bad at math, stop. And it's gonna, it's certainly showing here. Just, look at this. He's saving a little bit of money. The only question is, what on earth is he saving it for? And the question is, the answer is in the form of mutas. Yes. Now, does he have the larva to spend on them? He does. Why isn't he making mutas? That's a question. That is the good question. There we go. It looks like it was just a little bit. He was just a teeny bit late on that. Possibly playing with no sound. He does like his dubstep. Come on. Whoa, 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 whoa. But this stage in the game, only now do we see the tech lab researching combat shields. This is actually relatively dangerous for ColdScars, I think. Banelings that are going to be +2/+2 in the near future and not even having combat shields up. Well, combat shields ought to finish before +2, I think. Yeah, it should. And this is essentially going to be, this is really dangerous for ColdScars. He's going to move straight into this. I'm sure he's got good positioning. He's got essentially baller positioning, if you will. But, oh man, it looks like, IdrA's reinforcements here just weren't quite enough. The Banelings are actually making pretty good connections there. The mutas will actually be able to clean this up. It's just that IdrA needs to become aware of this, but he's got to be careful about those Widow Mines as well! Okay, there we go. Yeah. So IdrA holds this just fine. And behind that, he's actually got 4 base income. If we check this out, he's actually even with Terran. Terran does not need to be even with Zerg. Terran needs to be ahead of Zerg. That way they can crank out more Marines whenever possible, forcing the Zerg to crank out an equal number, if not superior number, of Zerglings and Banelings, of course, and of course seems to be my choice word today. Combat shields did finish up. +2/+2 is about to finish for both Terran and Zerg. And Widow Mines seem to be the bread and butter of choice that keeps this mostly Marine army alive. There's also a Hellbat mix, 2 Hellbats in the mix. I'm thinking that could be just the essential tool that we need to see from ColdScars to really hold against all these Zergling reinforcements from IdrA and so on and so forth. But as it is now, ColdScars is totally oblivious to this 4th. What I'm thinking he's thinking is perhaps, just perhaps, there's a 4th here. No. But here we go. Scan going down on the 3rd. IdrA's completely out of position. It looks like he's actually going to throw away a good deal of mutas in this. Ouch, he does. The positioning of these Widow Mines is actually really beautiful, but it's just not going to be enough. There's going to be a total surround on these Marines, and they get mopped the crap up. And now is the perfect time to see IdrA push back with the little leftover units that he has. He needs to do this to take down his opponent's 4th base. And is he going to do that? Is he going to do that? The Ling's getting a beautiful surround here. Both players even on upgrades. Ouch, the Widow Mines do their damage to the Lings. And it looks like maybe if we see IdrA become just a little more conscious of what's going on here. Oh my god, the Banelings are going to make sick connections! And they do! That's quite a few workers killed, to 7, but of course it's going to set back ColdScars even more because he's not on 4 full mining bases yet. Does IdrA even know about this? He does, but he's not doing anything about it. Okay, so telling this from ColdScars' perspective just a little bit more, he's throwing out some Marauders. He's trying to figure out, okay, just what kind of a Fiesta... What kind of Fiesta bio ball am I gonna need? Just like what kind of Hellbats, what kind of Marauders, what kind of Marines, what numbers more importantly as well. He's gonna need what's the word I'm looking for? He's gonna need a good deal of Widow Mines as well. He's gonna need excellent spreads on those Widow Mines. This is a pretty good spread right here. I like that. And IdrA's got all these changelings. He's like, you know what? I got this. Even with the 3 Overseers, and it looks like here we go. That's the engagement IdrA has been looking for. He's using the mutas to clean up anything that comes at him. And now finally, this 4th base is totally exposed. And we see ColdScars essentially in a position where he's totally out macroed. And I'm a little curious, ColdScars is completely oblivious to this 4th. I'm thinking perhaps he's just entirely been outplayed. It's not so much the fact that he wasn't scouting. He should know that at the level that he's playing, the pro that he was playing against, that there is in fact a 4th base, and that medevac drop that we see going down here completely removes any doubt in his mind about there being a 4th base. The overall command looks like it was taken down, so that puts IdrA significantly far ahead, and this is essentially, I think, the tipping point of this game. And that reminded IdrA, that little drop. Even though he's in a winning position right now, he's just going to have to go ahead and throw down some static defenses. Banelings now morphing. Just increasing numbers. Oh man, but this, I want to say, I don't know what to make of this. We do have a small group of Lings just being thrown away. Beautiful the way he's actually, kind of wasting them, if you will. But essentially, we have another scan going down here meant to deal with, if you will, the creep tumors, the numbers that they're getting into right now. IdrA taking a 5th base behind this, and I think ColdScars, he's kind of getting into a position to push back, but we also see IdrA going into Ultras right now. Look at that. The army supply slightly ahead for ColdScars than it is for IdrA, and that was completely ineffective Baneling use right there. That really was not what we needed to see from IdrA. And the Marines right here are just a little too many. And if IdrA flies all of his mutas into the Widow Mines right here, okay, I was thinking it could have been really bad. It really could have been. But IdRA's still alive here. He's got plenty of Banelings. He'll be doing good. He's got 3-3. on the way or finished. Yes, he does. Oh, I know Terran has 3-3. IdrA, of course, does have 3-3 as well, and he's getting Chitinous Armor. So he's going to go ahead and let this base fall. He's got an Overlord spreading creep over here, just, putting salt in the wounds of his opponent. And if we see ColdScars come back from this, it's going to be nothing short of a miracle. It really will be. But, oh man, those Widow Mines. If 4 of them make a connection with all of these mutas right here, I'm thinking the damage could be something that IdrA won't be able to come back from. Lings, of course, spreading out before they go into the engagement, trying to uproot as many of those Widow Mines as possible. Chitinous Armor now finished, 5-3 Ultralisk going into this, and ColdScars says, well played. And IdrA says, GG. Kind of mannered, but yeah. With that, we do see IdrA was victorious, and ColdScars went ahead and left the game. He had creep getting spread up to the third of, ColdScars with this, essentially. And this is kind of the beauty of Neoplanet S. You just, there's no Xel'Naga watchtowers. I'd say that was kind of an aggressive GG by IdrA, but at the same time, come on, guys. 183 supply to 88 already. I don't think there could have been a comeback after that. IdrA would have had to make huge mistakes from there. Income, yeah. Overall, solid play by IdrA. If you guys liked what you saw today, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe button, not button. This has been BreAKer. I'll see you guys next time.